So today, the excerpt for the brand new Brotherhood novel releasing later in the year has just dropped, and in it we find out about some very interesting new information about Obi-Wan Kenobi, a question that many of us have been wondering about for a very long time. For the first time in canon, we have official confirmation about where Obi-Wan got the nickname Ben from, which he uses in exile on Tatooine. So before we get into it, make sure you're subscribed and let's break it down. So for those of you who don't know, Brotherhood is an upcoming novel which will take place shortly before the Clone Wars and follow the adventures of Jedi Padawan Obi-Wan Kenobi and his good friend Dexter Jetster from Attack of the Clones. In the novel, we are set to learn exactly how Dexter served as an underworld informant for the Jedi Order and helped them out on many occasions. At one point in the novel, Dex meets up with Obi-Wan in a shady location and tells him about an old friend. Obi-Wan is concerned and asks, "What old friend?" In response, Dexter says, "Oh, I don't know, dresses better than you, striking eyes, Mandalorian royalty, used to call you Ben for some reason." Dexter then moves into a strong chuckle before Obi-Wan realizes that he is talking about Duchess Satine Kries. In case you haven't watched the Clone Wars, Satine Kries was the ruler of Mandalore during the early stages of the Clone Wars. Unlike most other Mandalorians, her faction was a group of Mandalorians who were pacifists and wanted to end the warrior ways of the Mandalorian people. Following the brutal Mandalorian civil war, Satine's faction, known as the New Mandalorians, came to power, and she exiled all of the warrior Mandalorians to their moon, Concorida. Now, this conflict left the surface of Mandalore absolutely devastated, forcing all of the cities into domes, just like we see in the Clone Wars and the Book of Boba Fett flashbacks. Either way, sometime after this, Master Qui-Gon Jinn of the Jedi Order was given a mission to protect the young Duchess, as turmoil began brewing on Mandalore once more. On the mission, Qui-Gon took his apprentice Obi-Wan along with him, and he soon fell in love with the young Duchess. He was even willing to leave the Jedi Order to be with her, had she only asked. Sadly, that wasn't meant to be, but somewhere along the line she began calling him Ben, possibly in a playful way or maybe even as a codename for his own protection. We did even hear the name Ben used in the Clone Wars series, but we weren't fully certain in canon that this was the reason he used the name Ben Kenobi on Tatooine. This new book finally confirms that. Regardless, this reveal hints at just how much Obi-Wan regretted his failures with Anakin and even Satine once he arrived on Tatooine in exile. Thoughts likely rushed through his head about how different the galaxy might have turned out if he had just taken Satine's hand and left the Jedi Order all of those years ago. The fact that he chose the name Ben, which he would have used if he had chosen the other path, tells us that he now is taking that other path on Tatooine. He is choosing to take that other option and leave behind his old dogma to give the galaxy one last chance with Luke Skywalker as the new hope. This is also a huge parallel to Anakin's marriage with Padme. Anakin destroyed everything he once loved and killed anyone in his way, all to bring back Padme however possible. Obi-Wan, on the other hand, chose the harder and more painful path by choosing to let go of Satine and his love for her. Every time he was called by the name Ben, he would have been given a very sad and painful reminder of who first gave him that name. Satine Kries, the love of his life that was never meant to be. So that's just a little canon update continuing to flesh out the ongoing Star Wars story. To stay up to date with everything happening across the books, comics and video games, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.